YouTubers? Thanks for watching. This is episode number 1. I'm Chuco del 530. The reason I'm doing this is to preserve history and pass it on to the younger generation. I'm starting to see young Chicanos out there integrating to society, putting their own culture aside and forgetting about it. And places like Japan and Brazil, they're embracing our culture while we're losing it over here in our tierras. So this is the intention of this YouTube channel, to preserve it and pass it on. It's going to be based on Pachuquismo, Chicanismo, lowriding culture, soul, rhythm, and blues. We'll be reviewing a lot of música, came from the barrio. So if you're into that kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe, leave a couple comments, let me know what you think. I'm also doing this because I want to answer a lot of questions I always get asked, like, do I always dress like this? What do I drive? What do I listen to? How I do my hair? Random questions, I'm starting to see a lot of misconceptions as well that I'm trying to, clear up and show the world that our culture is beautiful. So yeah. First video is going to be reviewing magazines. So check it out. Cáiganle. First magazine is Lowrider magazine. The granddaddy of all magazines. Lowrider magazine. This is magazines I used to buy as a chavalito. Although I really enjoyed them as a kid, they're starting to lose their edge. It kind of feels like they're just trying to fit as much as 64 Impalas in their 150 pages they got. Let's check it out and see what they got. A couple ads that do not necessarily portray to the lowriding culture. That's one of the things that kind of pisses me off about this magazine. Like this 2 ads take 2 pages on something that has nothing to do with lowriding. If you were into this kind of rims, you wouldn't be buying this magazine. That's the way I look at it. But then again, everybody got their own thing. The 64, no surprise there. Some more ads. Some more. That's the kind of thing that pisses me off, their ads. They're starting to bring the bongs back to Lowrider magazine for a while. They kind of didn't have them much. So now they're starting to feature more bongs. That's pretty cool. Pretty feeding me. I'm starting to get into the big dunks and stuff like that. That's a big chalice to me, That's one of the reasons I stopped buying these magazines. Because the way I look at it, lowrider magazine should still be like this. It's the Zoot Suit edition. They used to write in Calo, so that was pretty unique for a magazine, especially at that time. They've been around since 1977. They're started in San Jose. They moved recently to Anaheim. Started by university students, and it just took off. Got some Coleman's ad for Zoot Suits. Some of you veteranos might recall that. Yeah, to me, this is what Lowrider magazine should be like. Lowrider magazine also did videos I used to enjoy as a chamaco. Pretty cool. They also did Lowrider Arte and Lowrider Bicycle. Let me show us a couple of those. And then on the back they used to have mini cruisers, The magazines that got me into building chingaderas like this. I used to build them as a kid and hoping one day I might have a carrucha out there that I could cruise the streets on. Another thing about lowrider magazines, they used to have a comic strip in the back called Adventures of Hollywood. That's what eventually evolved into the homies, like these little vato right here. And this guy right here, the homies, amigos, and all that good stuff. So yeah, Lowrider magazine has done a lot for the cultura. Another one I started getting into is Streetlow magazine. I refer to it as the porno of lowriding. They put all these jainas out there, todas cochinas, you know, desnudas. You know what, XL, so that's what they do. They show a lot of bombs. One thing is, I don't like about these magazines, like you can see these 2 pages right here. They barely got anything for you to read. It's just a bunch of pictures stacked up on other pictures, and kind of sloppy magazine. You know, I started getting into them. You know, I used to go to the Streetlow magazines, pick me up a copy. This one was my favorite, the Godfather edition. Nothing but 39s. Some arte there. And like I said, it's a clusterfuck of puras flicas. They don't really are too organized in these magazines. You know, some writing. But yeah, that's Streetlow magazine for you. The new magazine coming up is Bonk magazine. I really enjoy this one. There's nothing but bombas, accessories, projects, you know. To me, that's what lowriding is, you know. Gente out there in their backyards, wrenching, trying to, you know, come up with something beautiful. It seems like lowrider magazines about radicals and, you know, people with feria, so I don't enjoy that magazine too much no more. That's why I moved on to Bombs magazine. And if you're like me, you know, with familia, you could, you know, leave one of these around the house and, you know, not worry about, you know, the kids seeing this kind of stuff, you know. But anyways, with that said and done, I'll have to rate Bombs magazine with a 10. Streetlow magazine, I'm going to give it an 8. And the current lowrider, I have to give them a 6. They got to really step it up and go back to, you know, what they used to do back in the day for me to go back to them.